Have you ever wanted to tell a computer exactly what to do, but you just didn't speak its language? Well, you've come to the right place. Today, we're laying out the entire roadmap for learning Python, which is honestly one of the most fun and friendly programming languages out there. Let's dive in. I absolutely love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. Python was literally designed to be readable, to look a lot like plain English. If you can just hold on to that one idea that you're not doing some crazy math, you're just learning a new language to talk to your computer, everything else is going to click into place. So our goal today is super simple. I'm going to give you a clear step-by-step roadmap that takes you from the absolute, I've never written a line of code basics, all the way to the point where you can build your very first simple program. All right, every great adventure starts with packing your bag, right? For our coding journey, that just means setting up our digital toolkit. And I promise, this part is way easier than you probably think it is. It's really just a two-step process. First, you'll pop over to python.org and install Python itself. Think of this as the engine. It's the thing that actually understands your commands. Second, you just need a place to write your code. These are called editors, and there are some amazing ones like VS Code or PyCharm. But honestly, if you're just starting out, check out Phyton. It's made for beginners, and it's fantastic. Okay, tools are ready to go. Now it's time to actually learn how to speak the language. In the programming world, the rules of the language are called syntax. Don't let that word scare you. It's just grammar. It's how we write instructions so the computer knows exactly what we mean. The very first building block, the most basic concept you need to know, is the variable. The best way to think about it, it's just a container. Seriously, picture a labeled box where you can put a piece of information you want to save for later. That's it. That's a variable. So, what kind of stuff can we put in these boxes? Well, most of the time, it's going to be one of these four basic types. You've got integers, which are just whole numbers, floats for any number with a decimal point, strings, which is just a fancy word for any text you put in quotes, and booleans, which are super simple. They can only be true or false. And this is important because Python needs to know if it's dealing with a number it can do math with or just a piece of text. And of course, Python is basically a super-powered calculator. It handles all the math you'd expect, right? Plus for addition, minus for subtraction, you get it. But it also has a few cool extras, like the double asterisk for exponents. And that last one, the percent sign, it looks weird, but it's called modulo. And all it does is give you the remainder after division. Trust me, it's way more useful than it sounds. Okay, this is where things get really cool. We've got the basic words and grammar down. Now we're going to teach our program how to think, how to make decisions, and how to repeat actions. The official term for this is control flow. So how does a program make a choice? It uses an if-else statement. I want you to picture a fork in the road. The program asks a simple yes or no question, like is the age 18 or more? If the answer is yes, it takes one path. If the answer is no, it takes the other path. That's it. This is the core of how programs respond to different situations. But what if you need to do something 100 times? You're not going to copy and paste the code 100 times, right? No way. That's what loops are for. There are two main flavors. You use a for loop when you want to go through a sequence of things, like every item on a list. You use a while loop when you just want to keep doing something as long as a certain condition is true. It's amazing. You can write 3 lines of code that do thousands of things. Now let's talk about being efficient. You know, being lazy in a smart way. Imagine you have a favorite cookie recipe. You write it down on a recipe card once. Then, every time you want to make cookies, you just pull out that card, right? You don't rewrite it from scratch every single time. Well, in Python, that recipe card is called a function. It's a block of code you write once, give a name, and then you can use it over and over again. Okay, so as your programs get bigger, you're going to have more, stuff, more data, more variables, and it can get messy really fast. We need a way to keep all our information organized, kind of like how you use folders to organize files on your computer. And for that, there are 2 main tools you're going to use all the time: lists and dictionaries. A list is exactly what it sounds like. It's just an ordered list of items, like a shopping list. A dictionary works just like a real dictionary. You have a key, which is like the word you look up, and a value, which is like its definition. So you could look up the key name to find the value Alice. So we've gone over all of these individual concepts, but what does it actually feel like to sit down and code? What's the rhythm of it? Let's walk through the simple cycle that brings your ideas to life. It's really just a simple 4-step loop: write, save, run, and debug. First, you write your code in your editor and save it as a file ending in .py. Then you use a simple tool called the terminal to tell Python to run that file. And finally, and this is the most important part, you debug. That's just a cool word for finding and fixing any mistakes. Then you just repeat. And I really need to pause on this for a second because it's so important. You are going to get errors, a lot of them. This does not mean you are bad at coding. It means you are actually coding. Every single programmer on the planet, from a first-day beginner to a 30-year expert, deals with errors all day long. They're not a sign of failure, they're just feedback. They're part of the puzzle. All right, to wrap things up, I want to leave you with a few pro tips. Think of this as some friendly advice from your travel guide to make the rest of your coding journey a whole lot smoother. First, do not try to memorize everything. That's not the goal. Professional developers Google stuff all day, every day. Knowing how to find the answer is the real skill. Second, consistency is way more important than intensity. Practicing for 20 minutes a day is so much more powerful than a frantic 5-hour session once a week. And finally, the big one, build stuff. The best way to learn is by doing. Start a tiny project. It doesn't matter what it is. Just build. So there you have it. You have the roadmap. You understand the basic language. The only thing left to do is to actually start the adventure. So how about it? Why don't we get our hands dirty and put all this together? We could build your very first Guess the Number game. Right here, right now. What do you say?